Actions previous to the crime. The foundation of SIG-10 and sub-alternative of the cops under the Leon Febres Cordero regime that was known for the torture cases / violation of human rights. Actions during the crime. Parents of Santiago and Andres Restrepo were called when they were traveling by the excuse of an unregistered license and told them they were located in the prison of San Roque. Andres Restrepo died during the torturing and then Santiago was killed to leave no witnesses. Cops of SIG-10 throw their parents' car into a risk and the corpses into the lake of Jambo. Actions previous to the crime. SIG-10 was dissolved and all the government during Leon regime were discovered.
Carlos Santiago and Pedro Andres Restrepo were part of a Colombian family that lived in Ecuador. These brothers were 17 and 14 years old when the case happened. All started on the morning of January 8th of 1988. The two brothers went out of their house to pick up a friend and leave him at the airport, but they never arrived at their destination. Later on, their parents started the search of their sons. At first, they were informed that both children were at the Provisional Detention Center for driving without a license, but at the time of the visit, this was denied. Then it was revealed that they were in fact captured and tortured by the SIG since they were Colombians and were blamed that they were part of some drug trafficking just for the fact of their nationality. They say that they killed first the older brother and then the other one so he doesn't reveal anything, and their bodies were hidden by the SIG. Later on, they indicated that on January 12, 1988, the request of their superiors, they had thrown 2 bags with their corpse into the Yambo Lagoon. These bodies were searched for many years, but they were never found.
What is power of attorney? So, power of attorney is the judicial power that states a court to decide and pronounce a judgment and carry it into effect between persons and parties who brings case before its decision. It also has some rights, like the right to determine actual controversies arising between diverse people, duly institution courts, proper jurisdiction. Also, judicial power confers on a federal court to the power to decide a case and to render a judgment to consistently resolve cases. The court is made up of 21 judges who are organized into specialized chambers, and they are appointed for a period of 9 years. They may not be re-elected and will be renewed by tier every 3 years. This case was judged as a state crime given the help that of the police received from the government. In addition, the judge involved simply filed the case without conducting a thorough investigation, leaving the murders of the Restrepo brothers in impunity. This case was full of contradictions, cancelled by the legal power. Even his sister mentioned that one of the policemen involved in the case is now a judge, since many uniformed men at that time became lawyers to learn the law and escape from justice.
Okay, so what do you think about the brothers case?
I think it's an extremely sad case because it took years for the family to get the attention of the government, and they didn't even get the bodies of their relatives back. All they had was like some money, um, but they didn't have a real compensation for what happened to them. And you could see in the news how the father of the family, after the mom passed away, was continued trying to raise his voice even when nobody would listen to him outside the government's palace. So it was extremely sad.
Okay, so next question. For you, what do you think power of attorney is? Legal power.
So I think legal power relates on the part of the state that generates the laws, and so that is legal power, where people get together and they discuss what's best for the country, But I think here in Ecuador it is always manipulated by the president that is in charge of the country.
Okay, last question. Do you think this kind of power was used in the Restrepo brothers case?
Yes, I think it influenced the Restrepo case resolution because, as many other cases at the time, it was silenced because the legal power was manipulated by the president and his own interest.
Thank you.
I think that it was a controversial case that happened in Ecuador, I think around the 90s, when was the government of Cordero, if I'm not wrong. And that was a big case for us to be conscious about the power of the police in here.
Okay, for you, what do you think about the power of attorney, or more known as legal power?
I think that this is a really big problem in Ecuador that has been affecting the whole political Ecuadorian story.
What do you think about the Restrepo brothers case?
I think that it is a case of political corruption, and it's a case that presents a real injustice in the judicial system, because I think it is totally unfair that the people that committed the murder just kept on with their lives like nothing happened.
For you, what do you think power of attorney is?
I think that it is the power that the legal system has on making things right, on making the rules being followed, and making things fair for everyone.
And last, do you think this kind of power was used in the Restrepo brother case?
I think that yes, because the ones that committed the crime were the policemen, and they had this power of making the things fair and making justice, but they didn't. They used this power to make corruption and make the bad thing happen. So I think that it was a power that was used, but not in the way that it should have been.
Thanks.
We believe that power can be used for good or for evil in society, specifically ours, which is legal power. This type of power can be used correctly by using the protocol and legal documents to have an equal society. However, it can also be used for evil by falsifying documents or using the people's money.